Hello, folks. It's me, Kerbanaut here, and today we are going to be doing the next episode of The Legend of Kethane. So, right here, you can see me. I'm already in orbit, and that is because I don't really want to show getting up into orbit, because that's boring stuff. We all know how to get into orbit. Actually, some of us don't, but that's fine. Today is not the day to be talking about that. So, what are we going to be doing today in this Legend of Kethane? Yeah, well, today what we're going to do is we're going... No, I don't know what... Stop penalizing my grammar. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to launch up 4 things? Yeah, maybe 4 things. 2 of which are going to be replacing things which we've already put up, and the other 2 are going to be the space station. So, first things first, we have to replace the fuel shuttle and the Kethane miner and that whole system, because that system is crap. I'm sorry, it just is. It's really rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is to fill up the fuel from that fuel shuttle, what we need to do is we need to kind of take the fuel from the Kethane miner, and then we need to put it into the rover, and then we need to drive that rover over to the fuel shuttle, then we need to dock again, and then put the fuel back in, and that process needs to be repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sorry. And that is just, I don't really want to have to do that every single time we need a bit of fuel. So I've come up with a new system, a new way to do this. I tried working this system into the materials that we already have, the ships that we already have on the ground, but the fact of the matter is that this new system will not work with, it's not compatible, the docking ports do not like each other, basically. Sorry, I'm sniffing. I haven't got the cold or anything, it's just I've got hay fever and I've been outside today. It's a beautiful day outside. But I will prevail, I will continue talking. So, what we've got here, we've got the fuel shuttle, the new fuel shuttle, and this small buggy on the sky crane. So, I keep sniffing, I'm sorry. So what we did was, we undocked, and then I realized, wait a second, we don't have a lot of RCS on this thing. We should probably put some RCS in it. So with the little RCS that we do have, I tried to dock again, but then get all tangled up somehow. Nonetheless, I do manage to get out, which is good, and I come back around. Put on a wee bit of time warp there so that everything straightens itself out, stops spinning around, and come in for a second to try. And sure enough, I get it docked this time. And then we stick some RCS in. But you're not going to see me stick the RCS in because nobody likes just sitting there for a few minutes watching me put RCS into some tanks. So, we just put the RCS in there, and jump cut. Right now, there you go, there was a jump cut. So, they're all filled up now. Now we're going to undock and land this thing at the base. Now, I am using MechJeb. I'm going to be using MechJeb for kind of a semi-automated landing here. I will be doing the inclination change burn myself. I will be doing the deorbit burn myself. And after that, I'll just say land somewhere, and it will land me... it'll land me somewhere, because I don't need to land exactly with this thing, so it's because a rover, it is a rover, so it can move, so it's going to drive up to the base. And you can see here we've just stuck the trajectory onto this base here. We go out of map view so we can get a wee bit nicer view, and you can see here on the left hand side I've just turned landing guidance on, and that's just going to land it for me, which is really nice. So, to explain what this is doing here, this small rover is actually a Kethane miner. It doesn't look it because it's absolutely tiny, but it is actually a Kethane miner. That is its job. It is designed to mine Kethane. And when we switch back to it, you will be able to see that. So, the wee rover, what it is going to do is it's going to dock onto the new fuel shuttle. And then it's going to deploy its Kethane mining utilities, and it's going to then produce kethane, which then it also has a converter on it, and that converter will convert the kethane into fuel, which will directly be pumped into the fuel shuttle instead of having to be transferred over via a small rover. And that's how it works. So we come over here, and I'm experiencing a bit of lag here. I mean, you can't see it right now because it's sped up a bit, but the fact of the matter is, it's quite a lot of lag here. And I think it's just because I've got things that don't really need to be, well, on. So I turn the brakes on, switch over to this thing, and take it away. Because it wasn't doing anything. I'm sorry, but it wasn't. So, oh man. So here we go, we're now landing the shuttle, the fuel shuttle. And, this is going to be a fully automated landing because I don't want to have to, kind of eyeball it on this. I really want it to be exact because it is the fuel shuttle, and this thing is not mobile. It cannot move over to the base, not easily anyway. And it has to be on the Kethane reserve. Now the Kethane reserve is quite big, but I don't want to chance it, so I just want to land right on the base. So I punch the coordinates into MetJeb, and you can see that little red marker showing me the coordinates, and it's then going to do my deorbit burn right here. You see it slows me down, puts me around to the retrograde mark, and then does my deorbit burn. That blue marker indicates where it thinks I'm going to land. So here we go. It's bringing it down. It's bringing it down quite nicely. And we get there. We get there very, very lovely, and it's all there. Lovely stuff. So this thing has a docking port on the bottom of it so that the rover can dock underneath it and provide it with the fuel. It doesn't have the docking ports on the side like last time, and it's run on nuclear engines because they're a lot more efficient. They do take a lot more time to land, but that's fine. As long as we have a little bit of MetJeb help, we will be absolutely fine. And it doesn't have all those RCS tanks on the side, which I absolutely love, because those RCS tanks, I'm sorry, but they were a bit naff. They were. So we put the landing gear out and come down for our final descent and land. And this is where you get to see the rover in action. Now, as with all things, the rover's docking ports will not match the docking ports of the other one, and that is just a fact. No docking ports are perfect. It'll be almost impossible to match docking ports on the ground. So I came up with a solution. RCS. RCS is the solution. So you can see me coming in here, and you can see here the docking port doesn't like to work, but I have a lot of linear thrusters on that, so I use them and we dock very successfully. We extend the solar panels that I've got on these, and we turn on the drills. And at this point we have more kethane coming in than we can deal with. Well, not really more kethane than we can deal with, but just some kethane. Unfortunately though, I don't think these solar panels give me a lot of power. So yeah. Right, let's get Jebediah Kerbanaut and we can go over and check out this thing here. So, we drive over, successfully avoiding the solar panels, and we have a wee look, and that's all good. So I decide, well, we don't need this other thing here. No, let's let Jeb have some fun. Boom! And Jebediah Kerbin has had his fun. Hopefully now we've given him that pleasure of destroying this solar panel, completely pushing it out of existence. Hopefully he will now never again hurt our solar panels. Maybe we've managed to bribe him off. Now for the second half. The second half is where we're going to be launching this thing and one other thing. You can see me, I failed by not throttling up fully as I took off. Now this thing is going to be going into orbit around the moon. This is the Moony space station, because it's going to be saving us lots of money. Ha ha ha, there was a wee pun there. Right, so, yes, we're going to be saving lots of money with the Moony space station. So, this thing is just the core. It has no RCS. It has 2 probe bodies and some RTGs on it to keep them alive, and that's it, and a whole load of docking ports. So we're gonna launch this up to lunar orbit. Now I don't think you're gonna see the whole thing, but it's quite cool. You can see us now just coming out to orbit the moon, just pushing our orbit out a little further here, and then we're going to get into orbit around the moon and get it into a nice spherical orbit. So, inclination is very important here, and the way you're orbiting, the direction of orbiting, so clockwise or anti-clockwise, is quite important. You want to be going anti-clockwise around the moon when you're doing a station. That's because when you're taking off from the moon, you want to use as much of its rotation as possible to give you some extra boost. If you see, the planet is rotating, right? And a good way to show this is if you switch between orbital and surface view on your nav ball. In orbital view, you'll see when you're landed on the moon, your prograde marker will be on the side, whereas your in surface mode, your prograde marker will be waving all over the place because you're stopped relative to the surface. So, yeah, and that means that when you're taking off, if you keel over to the right or to the east, I think. If you keel over to the east, you'll get more for your money, basically. Right, now this thing here is the Mooney fuel reserve. This is going to be going up and providing the fuel for all the ships, and we're going to come up and dock with this thing, dock with the Mooney space station, and it's just going to be a main base of operations for all ships. Now, I'm not using all the engines. I'm actually copying Hawk Gaming. Sorry, Mr. Harvey, but I will be copying you here in this thing, and it works rather well until I get maybe about this far up, at which point everything starts spinning out of control. And as I try to stop it, I spin even further out of control. It's like, no, what's going on? It's supposed to be fine, but it's not. It's not fine. It's doing annoying things, and I don't understand why. And then I've just realised right now, actually, it looks as if I've got 2 mech jebs on there, and that may be the problem here. It may be the problem. But, nonetheless, I turn off mech jeb, and I switch out to this thing, and if you look on my nav ball, I'll turn on RCS, and right there, I've just stopped. I've stopped that rotation. Very handy. And there we go. We're now going to burn out to the moon. We don't need to get into orbit first, because we have actually just... we can go right into the transfer burn over to the moon because we are in the right position right now. So we can burn out, and we have to get into the same orbit as the moon, and we do that successfully. And here we go. I'm just skipping ahead right over to the Mooney space station, and there it is right there. We're gonna undock with this thing, transfer all the fuel back into the main shuttle here, and decouple from that thing. We're then going to go parallel by pointing north. We don't need to use the parallel function on the Smart ASS because we know that this Mooney space station is pointing north. However, even though I do this, I come in a wee bit annoyingly. I don't point at it when I'm coming in, so I bump it out of the way by accident. But it's fine. I do come in for a second go and get it right. You'll just see my failing bumping here. Here we go, and bump out of the way by accident. However, I come in for a second go, not being parallel. I just come in and try and get it. I'm using the nav ball, of course, and we dock successfully. And that is the Mooney space station. We're now going to switch over and just take care of this little piece of debris and then get back to the tracking station. Well, folks, that is us for today. We have successfully launched a new space station around the moon, the Mooney space station. It's going to be a base of operations for all future stuff going out there, and we've also just improved the land base. Now, folks, we are ready to actually do some stuff out in space. We've got all the stuff ready. We can now go on some good old-fashioned missions. So expect those coming up in the next couple of episodes. I will see you in the next one. See you later, folks. Bye bye.